what are some practical ways that we can stay fueled? Because if we don't stay refueled, if we are not identifying the seasons, we will burn out. This is a Project Sisterhood podcast for all things women. Whether you feel purpose for ministry, motherhood, or the marketplace, we have crucial and genuine conversations that transcend your season, yet impact your true identity as a woman. From lighthearted and laughable to honest, deep matters of the heart, your soul will be encouraged. We hope you and all women of every age and every stage find life and freedom in Jesus. Hey, ladies, welcome back to the Sisterhood podcast. We are so glad that you're joining us. Super excited to dive in here. We are midsummer, and summer is almost ending. So I've asked Alex and Gabby to join me in this conversation about summer and how we like to refresh in the summer. What are you guys doing to kind of refresh? Because a lot of our calendars have quieted. The rhythms for our children, my children, have quieted. You have one little guy, and Alex has one on the way.
One little guy on the way.
Yay! Yeah. So how has this summer for you guys all kind of chilled out?
Yeah.
I'm just jumping right in. Why not?
For me, I'm a teacher during the school year, so I'm definitely just resting.
Yes.
And spending a lot of time with my little one.
Can you tell everybody who you are, too? At your project?
I am Gabby, and I help lead the South Sac campus.
Yes.
Yeah, alongside my husband, Antonio.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
First time here on the Sisterhood podcast.
Yes, first time.
She's leading Sisterhood really well over there and prayer team.
Yeah.
And we're grateful for your leadership. Just spoke this past weekend.
I did,
too.
yes.
There was fire.
Thank you.
Fire.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Super excited. I love what's happening here. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's super cool as a Bible teacher in school that you can bring the word on Sunday mornings too. And I think people really love that. That teaching style that you bring.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for
sowing into ladies.
Thank you for trusting me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you're slowing down.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have a lot going on during the school year. So during the summer, now that I have, a small little guy, 2-year-old, I want to just spend as much time as I can with him that, time I can't spend with him during the school year.
Yeah.
So it's just sleeping in, hanging out, going to the park, all those things.
How many years have you been teaching?
It's going to be my 5th year, this new school year.
Is there something that you do every summer as a family, or something that you do for yourself as a teacher, knowing that you have this big break?
Yeah. I think I'm still trying to find out what it is.
Okay.
We definitely like to slow things down and do some type of, now that we have our son, he's at the age I think now where he can actually enjoy going to places, because I tried to do that when he was 1 and when he was 1.5, and it's just hard because you have these expectations this is all the fun we're gonna have, and he has a meltdown, and then he's too tired and he wants to take a nap, so then it's okay, I'll wait till he gets older. So now we're barely trying to discover all the things that he likes and trying to take him to those places.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, trying to figure out what our new tradition's going to be.
Yeah. Summer tradition.
Yeah.
All right. Pastor Alex, I know that you've been pastoring here for several years now, and summer for us typically slows down, which I'll get to that with different seasons that we face. But what does your summer slowdown look like?
Ooh. Well, I think at the beginning of summer, or maybe early before summer begins, it just so happens that me and Nathaniel's anniversary is June 2nd. So we typically like to go on a vacation to celebrate our anniversary. And so this year we went to New York, and it was a ton of fun. But we try to go somewhere new, at least with each other. I've been to New York before, but he hadn't. So it was a new experience for both of us. And so that's always something that we look forward to at the beginning of summer. And then last summer, I introduced him to camping for the very first time. He had never been.
Stop it.
Never. He had never been. His family didn't really do stuff like that. But we went 0 to 100 extremely quickly. So it wasn't there's plugins, there was no water, there was no power.
You didn't give the man a glamping experience first, Alex?
It was not glamping. But I think he wanted to go 0 to 100 because that's just the type of person that he is. So what we did was we rented essentially this vehicle that had a tent on top of it.
Yeah.
And we went to this beach where you could camp, and it was a ton of fun, and it was a great learning experience for both of us. We came back with a lot of hilarious stories that I'm sure I'll tell you sometime soon. But with that being said, he loved it so much. He was like, we should plan another trip.
Yeah.
And obviously I am pregnant, and so that doesn't sound like a lot of fun to a lot of people. But this time I was like, let's do something glamping.
Yes.
Where we have
That is
power and running
where it's
water and stuff
at.
like that. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess that's what we like to do, is we like to start our summer with our anniversary trip, and then also do something local as well. But then in our day-to-day, we love to go on walks, especially right now. Like, we've been reading a lot of, obviously, books on pregnancy, and we've been hearing that it's really good to like do a 3-mile walk every day. And so
Wow.
we do that together in the mornings. And honestly, just being active is a refresher for me. And so it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm dreading this, but
Yeah.
I actually like am way more energized when I get back home after that. And then spending time together. So once a week we have like a date night, and it's doesn't have to be anything fancy. Like, we'll have a date night at home where we make homemade pizza, and then one date night would be like, you know, I think next week we're going to the drive-in movie theaters, and then once a month we'll do a fancy one. So we kind of like to change things up with the date nights. But yeah, I guess that's our monthly rhythm, at least, of rest, is our date nights and then our weekly walks as well. So
Yeah.
Good.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Our family, I have 3 kids, 13, 12, and 10. And this is the sad thing. Kanan, my oldest, told me, well, this weekend we went on a trip to Monterey, and we weren't going to bring the kids with us, but then we're like, hey, why not? We have this great place to stay for free $99. And we're like, hey, let's let them experience this and go to the beach, whatever. And he's just like, yeah, we want to do that instead of the original plan of staying at their friend's house over the weekend. Like, let's do that instead, because there's only 5 summers you have left with me.
He did not say that.
He said that.
No.
That is
He
hurtful.
actually said 4, but I'm like, no. It's 5 before you go off to college. But that makes you realize that, dude, time goes by so
Wow.
fast. And I was so emo. Do people still say emo?
We say it here.
I say
We say it here
On
at
the
the Sisterhood podcast. You heard it here. We're still emo. But I was super emo about it. I got to stop saying it. But so we always plan a trip with the kids. Typically we go to Palm Springs, and my daughter loves Palm Springs, but that fell through this summer. So, and then we always go to Truckee. So we need to find something to replace our Palm Springs trip, which we typically love, but I think it's going to be more of a staycation. So definitely refreshing. I had 3 or 4 weeks off of preaching. Caleb had 5 weeks off of preaching. So we definitely take those Sundays off where they're much milder of a lift. So yeah, so that's the summer refreshing, and that's kind of our rhythm. And it's something that I want to talk about today, because whether you're in motherhood, the marketplace, or ministry, there are rhythms that we have to be aware of. And in a lot of other podcasts, we've talked about seasons. So I want us to talk about the importance of refreshing, especially for many of us. Summer is that time of refreshing, especially when youth ministry and kids ministry is done with their camps. But for a lot of adults, it's a time to refresh a little bit. Even some corporate settings slow down a bit. And so I want to make us all aware of seasons that we talk about here and rhythms that we talk about here in our church. And we talk about how we're either in one of 3 seasons. 1 is the improving season. 2 is the expanding season. And 3 is the refueling season. We're focusing a little bit more on refueling. But when I think about improving season as a church, it's like, okay, let's improve our systems. Let's really focus in and hone in on building up our teams and what systems need to change for Sunday morning. But that applies to even our families. Okay, now that school's over, what can we be improving as a family? How are we connecting regularly? How can we improve our marriage and our connection as a married couple? So there can be seasons where we are needing to focus on improving. And then I think about your family is about to expand, and now you're going to be in an expanding season. That's going to look very different than figuring out your rhythms, it's almost like you want to be ahead of it and know how you're going to operate in a expanding season. As a church, that looks like expansive growth and numbers and rhythms of meetings and expansion, right? Expanding of a campus. We've added South Sac as of last year. And then there's a refueling season where improving doesn't completely cease. And it doesn't mean that all expansion ceases, but there is just a difference where you need to charge up. And we would recommend that we're charging up every week with the Sabbath, because that is not a suggestion. It is a commandment of the Bible. But there are some seasons, and for us as a church, us as a family, we are refueling. We don't have as many games or sports or extracurricular activities. So the important thing with these seasons and with these rhythms is that we need to understand which season we're in. Sometimes when we are only in improving season, we're frustrated that we're not expanding. So then we don't want to improve, and we just want for expansion. And then you're just left discontent and you're frustrated. Discontentment often is preceded by not knowing what season you're in and not welcoming it. Maybe it's a grieving season. And I'm thinking about relationally, and I'm holding on to a relationship, but it actually is time to grieve it because they're moving on or they're going somewhere else. And so there have been seasons where I've unwelcomed grieving and have held on, and it was like, oh wait, that wasn't what the Lord asked me to do. My relationship or that thing is not expanding. It's time for me to refuel, because I don't know. I was trying to bring that. I don't know if I can keep on going with that example, but I think you get the idea, right? And so what we want to focus in on today is refueling and refreshing. It's summertime. A lot of people are refreshing. So how can we stay fueled and refuel in this season, in this summer, for every single one of you listening? How can you refuel when you know it's this time of refueling? Maybe you're in an expansion or improving season. Save this for another day. Save this for your refueling season. But what are some practical ways that we can stay fueled? Because if we don't stay refueled, if we are not identifying the seasons, we will burn out. We'll burn out in ministry, in whatever capacity we're serving. We'll burn out in our marriages. We'll burn out in our work. Man, if we can't understand what is happening in our workplace right now, anyways, we can burn out. So how can we practically stay refueled? Do you have any tips and tricks?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that as it relates to refueling and refreshing seasons, it doesn't mean that like we omit all work, right? I actually do think that refreshing seasons and refueling seasons still require work, and that work specifically being preparation. Even like what I was talking about, you know, how I find rest in the summertime, all of that required a lot of planning and preparing. Like my rest doesn't just come by happenstance. And I think a lot of times people think that like, oh, it's the weekend and I'm going to rest and I'm not going to plan anything. And like, I will just happen to feel rested and ready for the week to come. But we've talked about it even in staff. Like even when we come to a place of like a restful space or weekend, or we have time and we only fill that with like staying in bed all day or like watching TV all day, that's actually not at all restful. And so for me and my family with my husband, like we plan out what our rest looks like. We even have on our calendar right now, like, hey, this is going to be a day where we're going to go somewhere. Like we're still working out where we're going to go, but at least we have that day sketched out. Like, hey, don't plan anything. Don't like have any meetings this day. Don't have any hangouts with a friend this day, because this day we're going to go somewhere and, you know, out of town, something like that. And so for us, planning plays a huge part in our rest and even allows us to rest because we know what we're going to do, right? Like for me on my Sabbath Fridays, right? Like I've seen times and days where I didn't plan at all and I did nothing that day, but it didn't actually do anything for my refueling. But I know that I love to paddleboard. I love to go out. I love to be out in nature, go on a walk, whatever it is, maybe go to a coffee shop. But if I don't plan that out for me and my personality, it's not likely like that those things will happen. And so planning is huge. Refreshing does not mean that we don't work. It actually means that we need to work to plan out our times of rest. And even with, me and Nathaniel's date nights once a week, right? Like we have to plan those out or they're just not going to happen, right? And so I would say that is a huge tool to bring into your summer refresh is don't omit work.
Yeah.
Actually embrace the work that needs to go into your rest. And even when we look at scripture and Sabbath rest, they had all these rules and regulations, right? Of like, okay, well, don't work or don't, have a certain amount of steps in the day or don't cook that day. And so they worked to plan so that they would have meals to eat that day, so that their work would get done prior to their Sabbath. But I think there's something powerful about the Sabbath, because scripture also says that man was not created for Sabbath, but Sabbath for man. And there is a huge practical element to that, I believe, of our spiritual health in practicing rest, practicing Sabbath. And similar to, the Israelites, where they had to work in order to prepare for the Sabbath, we need to do the same thing.
Yeah. That's
really
good. I think that that's so true, because as a teacher, I always plan during the summertime for my next school year, because I know that if I don't do that, then it's going to be a crazy school year. Yeah. And I always try, like you said, plan and get ahead. And I know that doing so will give me rest in that season where I do have to go into a more busy schedule. And sometimes I do like to, when I want to start a new practice in my life, I like to use time, for me it's summer, when I'm resting, use that time to put those practices in my life, or put them into practice. I don't know if that's good, but put those practices into practice, so that when I do step into that, going back to school or going back into a busy season, there'll already be a habit, or it will already be a discipline that I'm doing, because I started it in my resting time.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. It's sounding like refueling can really be a time of planning. Yeah. And planning, preparation. I really believe, as you guys were talking, that if we are going to have a fruitful refueling season, it's almost like we already have to have built up a discipline and understanding for the need of rest. And for Christians, we should know this better than anyone else, that we can't rely on our own hurry, our own work ethic, our own personal abilities, or not personal abilities. That's not, even our physical abilities to do the work that we are set out to do, to build a family, to build anything, to build a business, to build a ministry, to build anything without God's help. And so a regular rhythm of rest before we get into that refueling season will help prepare for that refueling season to be as fruitful as it can be. Because I do find that when people, I just heard a leadership talk, I think it was Carrie Newhoff, and I think this was an old one, but he talked about how so many, or maybe it was the book Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, but by the time people get to sabbatical, whether it's in the corporate world or in the ministry world, after so many years of working so hard, it's like, okay, you're going to be rewarded with this sabbatical and this extensive time off. Some people don't know what to do with themselves because they've lived in such a hurried manner that now they're just trying to recover. Refueling is not recovering. Refueling will only be fruitful if we know how to recover on the regular. So to me, my refueling season of spending time with my family more, prioritizing meetings with them, not meetings with the church, meetings with my family, not meetings with people within the church, and even those weeks off of preaching, that has only been sustainable because throughout the year I practice Sabbath. Every week. And again, this is a command. This is not a suggestion. And I think some people think it's easier for us because we're in ministry, but I actually think no, people's problems and people's needs and people's, desire for spiritual growth, it doesn't end. It doesn't stop, And I do think that it can be even more of a temptation for people in ministry to be like, oh, it's not work, I'm helping people. But it's like, no, you need Sabbath. You need to take a day of rest where you are not relying on your own strength. It's really relying on God's strength. So, I mean, that sounds so elementary, but it's the truth. These foundational, scriptures of abiding in him, apart from him, I am nothing. Like that is like the foundation of making any season fruitful, you know?
And even as it relates to seasons, obviously we're talking about different seasons that you can find yourself in. And one of them is a refueling season. But even as you're talking, you're reminding me that rest is not just a season. Yeah. It's something that we need to actually sustain us in the other seasons of where we're expanding and where we're growing, those other seasons as well. We have to implement rest into that because we don't work for rest. We work from a place of rest. And I think especially in the space that we find ourselves in right now, church, right? Oftentimes, well, all the time, we work with people who are volunteers. And those volunteers are also leading teams. And it's super important for them to understand the concept of rest and practicing your Sabbath weekly. Because what we do see a lot are people saying like, okay, I need to step down from this role because I'm going into a season of rest, which is a great thing. Yeah. But I think a lot of the, motivation for that is because they weren't practicing rest already, like in their weekly rhythms. And so I do think like we would see a lot more people being sustained in ministry areas, especially in volunteer ministry areas, when they implement rest. And maybe this is just something that the church at large hasn't really talked about a lot.
You're right.
A lot of times because we live in a culture that is so works-based, even outside of the church, right? Like people are just simply uncomfortable with Sabbath rest because it's ingrained in them that they need to work for something. But that's not the freedom that the Lord wants for us. The Lord wants us to be sustained in our faith and be sustained in our ministry. And that can only come from receiving rest that comes from him. Because at the end of the day, like our rest does correlate to our work. And again, a lot of people don't say yes to rest. And as you were talking, I was like, oh wow, our rest actually requires us to say no to a lot of things so that we can make space for that.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. I actually want to jump into some subject matter that Pastor Caleb gave us at a staff meeting. And he gave us some practical tools, 11 of them to be exact, okay? And we can go through them pretty quickly here, but I want to give people these tips because it's just really great, really simple. I actually think I missed one of the fill in the blanks. Alex, maybe you can help me. But one of the ways that we can stay fueled in every season and refuel in this season that we found ourselves in, summer being the refreshing season that we're talking about, is number one, staying connected to the Lord. Seems so simple, but I think when you were talking about how, were you saying something about like refueling this summer? And I don't remember. My brain, it just... Yes. Yeah. It's that's what I'm trying to get to. Thank you. Could you edit that to make it sound really sensible? Great. But in the same way, we need to stay connected in every season. It's not like if we are only connecting with the Lord in the refueling season, we've missed it. And it's exactly what you said, that we don't work for our rest, we work from our rest. And it makes you, that begs the question, what are you working from? What is your motivation? If it's not starting with abiding in him and staying connected to him, I don't know what you're refueling from. You're recovering from something. You're recuperating from something. And I don't think God is what we're trying to even talk about, or God is trying to say that refueling is just recovery. Like this is a season that needs to be healthy and productive and fruitful.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of us are just recovering, and you did that to yourself, sis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really harsh.
That
I
was
say that
kinda
with all
harsh.
love in my
Sorry.
heart. Anything on that?
Yeah.
Staying connected to the Lord. I know it seems.
I think that sometimes, I think this goes along with rest and stuff, but I think that many times we've grown up in a society where it's about performance.
Yeah.
And we think that our worth is connected to our performance or how much we do. We are constantly looking at social media and all of these things that these people are doing that are making them seem like they're, they're productive. Like they got it going on. I got to do all of these things in order to make my life or make myself feel like I'm, being productive or at least accomplishing something. And so we put rest to the side, and that's like the one thing I think we're willing to give up because we're like, one day will pay off. One day I'll be able to rest. But that goes back to like some people, some of us are working or trying to do things, accomplish things, and not from rest, right? And then we're like, one day I'll be able to rest.
Yeah.
If I accomplish all of these things. And I think that we have to change that mindset. We don't need to perform in order to be, in order for it to have God's approval. So we just have to remember that, like, that is a commandment because God knows how important that is for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Next one. Remember, no one's in charge of you but you.
Ooh.
I guess that kind of went in line with what I said. I was like, you did it to yourself, sis.
Yeah.
I know how many times I've done it to myself, where I took on way too much. Like, and Caleb will just be like, who asked you to do that? Or like, what deadline are you up against? I didn't give you that deadline. I'm like, okay, overachiever, or like you're an overperformer. Like if the Lord hasn't asked you to do something, and if even your authority or your oversight, my husband in my case, the one whom I submit to, if he's like, what are you trying to do here? Or who are you trying to impress? Oh, that's put me in check so many times. Yeah, because he's seen me at my worst, like, running ragged and realizing that because I'm so tired, it fleshes out and manifests in my home. And he can feel it when the house is in disarray or when the kids are experiencing a more grumbling mother. It's just so, yeah.
Or we blame people for our lack of rest.
Yeah.
And I think that happens most often, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you're in a place of where you and Caleb are leading
Yeah.
in this church, but I've experienced for myself where I'm like, oh, like, I have too much going on, and it's because of this is what I have to do for work. But at the end of the day, like, I can say, like, okay, I have a long work weekend, so let me adjust my hours throughout the week. And, like, I think a lot of times we are expecting other people to do that for us, but at the end of the day, the onus for our rest is on us, not on other people.
Yes. How do you encourage somebody, Gabby, when when they're not taking charge? This is such a hard question. I'm so sorry. It just came to my mind. But you're leading a lot of teams right now, and you and Antonia are leading a lot of people. How do you help them keep charge of their own life and just say, hey, I'm not in charge of your parameters.
Yeah. I think something that we've recently started trying to really remind people to do is, like, there are practices in scripture that are there for us to be able to stay connected to God. And I think that's going to be the ultimate thing that we have to do, is remind ourselves to constantly be connected to him, to abide in him. And how do we do this? These are, there are practical things that one can do to stay connected.
Yeah.
So just looking at those in scripture and adding those to our day-to-day life, like our day-to-day our schedule is like just constantly be connected to God.
Yeah.
Making that a priority.
Yeah.
You recently introduced us to that app.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
365.
Yeah, and those
She introduced it to me.
well, it's amazing. I mean, it's been a game changer for Antonio and I's lives
Yeah.
because we, you know, it really gives us a moment to just pause in
Yeah.
our busy day
Yeah.
and just abide, pray, rest, think, just stay, you know, in solitude
Yeah.
for a few minutes, and it does add to your life, and from that you get to have more energy to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So we are constantly reminding people that like who you are and what you do there needs to be a connection between those two.
Yeah.
So have integrity, you know, be who you are in all of the spaces that you're involved in. And that's only going to come from a relationship with God. So you have to make sure you're truly connected to Him.
Yeah. In the same way that you're in charge of your own schedule and your own burnout, the only thing that's going to keep you from that is your responsibility with you and God. It's like every one of us, Philippians 2, right? You preached on it a few weeks ago. Has to work out their own salvation. If you're not working out your own salvation, you're blaming everybody and their mother. For what's happening in your life. So, okay, the next one, I want us to just give book recommendations, okay? So practicing, is that the number 3 he gave us? Practice Sabbath?
Yes.
Yes, practice Sabbath. Guys, just practice Sabbath. I'm going to say it one more time. It is not a suggestion. It is a command straight from our Lord and Savior. My book recommendation, because I feel like you guys have other ones because you both love John Mark Comer. But I'm going to give Sabbath by Dan Allender. It's a great book and tool on Sabbath. I would say, especially for people who don't have young age kids and maybe people who are single too, because it gives a lot of great practical advice. And it's from a therapist who he was already an empty nester. So I do think that you have to navigate Sabbath differently when you have a family, which then, okay, I'm going to steal a book recommendation. What do you think I'm going to say? John Mark Comer.
Go ahead. Practicing the way.
Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. That's another great book. I read both of those on my sabbatical. So do you have any book recommendations?
Man, that was definitely going to be it. But I'm going to come at it from a different direction.
Let's go.
One of the things that really hindered my Sabbath was boundaries. And so there's a book called Boundaries.
Let's go.
By Dr.
Henry Cloud.
Yeah. So I would say for me, in order to understand like
that's so good.
where to bring my no into Sabbath, I had to understand my boundaries.
Yeah,
That's really good.
For me, there's a book called Liturgy of the Ordinary, and it's by Tish something Warren.
Yeah,
I
something
just
like
looked her
that.
up recently.
It's so good.
But
That just jumped up on my Instagram
it's really good.
before you said this.
Yeah.
You gotta
Now
Gotta get it
AI
now.
is predictive. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So she just basically, she's a mom. She's busy, you know, and it's just basically making your ordinary life, like any ordinary thing,
So good.
be just, you know, so like a special moment with God, and just finding the beauty in all of the simplicity of things. I mean, depending on your, you know, income and your budget, some people can't go out on vacation. So like, how can you make a staycation so refueling, and, you know, all of those things. So I think that it's beautiful to see ordinary things and give a new light to them.
Yeah, and isn't that the goal of Sabbath anyways?
Yeah.
To see God and celebrate what He has done and what you're resting from. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, this is what Christ did. This is what He did. And so He's doing those things and we miss it.
Yeah.
Because we're not resting. Okay, we got to keep going. Use your vacation time. That's another stay fueled in this refueling season. If your boss has given you time off, then take some time off. I think it was in Ruthless Elimination of Hurry where it talked about how people frequently don't use all of their vacation days, or they'll go on little spurts of vacations and they're actually haven't recovered because the vacation is, you know how you take a vacation you need to take rest from your vacation because it was so quick and it was so hurried, because even our vacays are hurried. Our quick getaways are hurried and it's not truly restful. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Incorporate, I missed that fill in the blank. Incorporate habits that refuel you. Did he say 2-hour habits? Oh, that was really good. Can you remind the people?
Incorporate habits.
Is it the 2-hour habit?
Wait, What was the? Don't put the blank in. Just
Incorporate habits that refuel you or that fuel you up. I'm pretty sure it was like practicing regular rest. We're
Yeah.
gonna move on from that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so get quality sleep.
That's a
Talk
good
to me
one.
about sleep.
I'm a napper, so I do that all day, every day. No, I'm serious though. I go home from work and I'm like, all right, I'm taking a nap now, and
good.
I don't know. I've always been wired that way. Like Nathaniel, I think, envies me because one, I can nap and then also have like sleep
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But I can go to sleep like that.
Yeah.
Like there could be noise in the room. There could be light in the room. And I'm like, I close my eyes and I kid you not, 1 minute passes and I'm knocked out. And he's like twiddling his thumbs in bed. Like, why can't I sleep right now? And there's this girl next to me that's just snoring the night away. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's important to me. And I think I've trained myself to do the napping and sleeping wherever I can, to be honest.
That's so
with you.
good.
Because I know it's so important.
Yeah, and the people who have probably the least amount of things that they're anxious about and that they're trying to figure out in their own strength, honestly, keeps them up.
It's because
And
I
like,
trust God so much. So I'm
I
like, I can
trust in
sleep.
God. Very good. Caleb, he can fall asleep like every night. It's rare that something keeps him up unless it's something really pressing, a really hard situation. But for me, they say that it's a Filipino thing. Have you heard this? That we can nap anywhere and everywhere.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's a genetics thing.
If I go into the car and I'm the passenger, I am sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I also fell asleep driving. It led to a very bad accident when I was 18 years old. Another story. Anyways, moving on. Get quality sleep.
Yeah.
Get quality sleep.
Yeah. Antonio's really good at that. He will buy anything that will give you good rest. Like he has all of the TikTok things, like the nose that opens your nostrils, a thing, like a mask. He has a mouth guard. He has like
Can you take a picture for us?
I will.
Oh my
cool
gosh.
sheet, like all of those things so that it can give him good rest. I think
oh
the older
my
he's gotten,
gosh.
the more serious he has gotten about his sleep.
That is amazing.
You need to take a
I
picture.
do. I will.
So good.
I'll show it to you guys.
Okay, next one. I can't wait for that clip on social media. Next one, exercise.
Yeah.
Exercise. Just do it.
Just
okay.
do it. So good for you.
This is another one. Do everything for God's approval, not man's. Yes. Okay, this one, I think let's talk about this one. Less screen time. So, I hope you're only listening to this, not watching it on YouTube. But yeah, less screen time. I've heard the recommendation to not keep your phone by your bed, even as an alarm. Leave it in another room. It actually gets you out of the bed and just gives you actual restful sleep. Oh gosh, Mel Robbins had a great podcast on it. If you ever listen to that podcast, she doesn't need any shout outs. She's like the number one listen to one, but we'll shout her out anyways. Okay. Read something that incites creativity. Oh, during refueling season, I find myself reading, especially in the refueling season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys?
Yeah. Definitely.
There was a time where I was like only reading leadership books and like spiritual formation books, and I started to realize, like, while they were very helpful in certain areas of my life, they were not helpful in areas of creativity. And so I started reading The Hobbit, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Like, such a good book. I did get scared, so I stopped reading it for a little bit, and then after a while I picked it up. But yeah,
You got scared?
I did, like where Schmeagol comes into play. I was like, this is actually terrifying. So I cannot watch this anymore or read this anymore.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. So, but it's great creative writing. And so it helped me a lot. So yeah, I've definitely been in seasons where I've read non-leadership, spiritual formation books. Yeah. And it's been helpful. Yeah.
It's so easy to go there. Our sisterhood book club actually read a fiction book, or was it it was nonfiction, but it was a story. It was I think it would be classified as an autobiography, kind of told in two perspectives, the same kind of different as me. So good. And I definitely felt a jolt of inspiration and excitement because I do get in that rhythm of let's read books on prayer and spiritual formation and something that's going to challenge me. And it really is kind of self-focused. Gosh darn it. Okay, I just called myself out. You have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to her. I was last summer, I was like, okay, I want to read Spanish literature. So that's what I did. Just so I can get to know, you know, the authors and the Spanish language.
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh yeah, in refueling season, I bet it would be exciting to learn something. Talk about refueling by learning something new and not staying in the same habits of things that you already know. That's great. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And then lastly, connect with people who fill you up. You fill me up.
Sing it.
You raise me up. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Get filled up.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I almost want to say to you to say no to some people, you know, in your life, or say no to your boss. Just kidding. I don't know.
Or not us going to hang out after.
Well, not us. I'm talking about other people who are listening in their corporate worlds, and it's like, oh, maybe not. Like, you know, get refueled by that. Okay, I'm going a different path, but get filled up by, like, for me, it's going to be my family primarily. Yeah. It's prioritizing my family above all else because my kids are in school for the rest of the year. And so I get all my time with them this summer. And again, like Kanan reminded me in full circle moment, I only have 5 summers left with him before he...
Oh my goodness.
It's really mean.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
I've heard that before, and I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. Man, we didn't even get to burnout, but I think that the goal of refueling seasons and the goal of regular rhythms of rest and taking a Sabbath is that you would not burn out. I don't think it's a part of the plan that we would burn out. Yes, there will be struggles, and yes, there will be hardships in your serving and in your doing and in your raising your family and in your doing ministry and working so that you can provide for your family. But burnout is never a part. I don't believe it's a part of God's plan. If we get to that point, he will always absolutely use that for his glory. But let's prevent burnout. As Christians, we should be managing our calendars better because we're abiding with the one who gives us the strength to do all of this. Yeah. So if we're burning out, it's only, this is a strong statement. If we are burning out, it could perhaps be because of our own self-reliance and self-protection, everything. Everything that we're doing is not keeping us from burnout. So we need to rely on the one who will give us rest. He will rely on the one who gives us strength to do anything, and we can have a productive refueling season.
Yeah.
So
good. So good. I mean, even when you're saying that, like, what is our motivation to rest? What is our motivation to not rest?
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down to one thing, and that's trust.
Yeah.
And our motivation to not rest is saying, God, I trust in myself, in my strength more than yours.
Yeah.
And our motivation to rest should be saying, God, I trust that even when I'm resting from my work, that you are still working and sustaining and providing. And I think it all comes down to trust, ultimately, and what you place your trust in.
Yeah.
I trust in God. Sorry, all these songs are coming.
I'm definitely taking what you said and just writing it down somewhere. Like, you don't work for rest, you work from rest.
Very good.
Like, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm going to write it down.
Pastor Alex, spiritually forming us.
Yes.
Thank you
just
so
nuggets.
much.
Thank you.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. No, this is just incredible. And ladies, I hope that you got something from this podcast, that whatever season you're in, that you're regularly resting, you're taking your Sabbath because it is a command, not a suggestion. But also, if you're in a refueling season, especially this summer, take the rest of the summer to, do some of these 10 practices or 11 practices that we've given and some of the advice that Pastor Alex and Pastor Gabby have given. We want you to refuel well so that we can be on this journey, this faith journey, for the long haul. What is the book that Naomi's reading?
Oh, it's A Long Obedience in the Same Direction by Eugene Peterson.
A Long Obedience in the Same Direction. If we are going to do this life well, we're going to continue to set out on this mission that God has for us to expand the kingdom, then we're going to stay refueled, refreshed, and rested so that God can do what he wants to do through us. So that's like saying yes to him weekly, daily, so that we can stay on his path. So we love you, ladies. Make sure that you subscribe, you share this for anybody who needs some tips on staying refueled and rested. And We love you. Stay cool.
Stay cool.
Bye.